Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 3,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 100 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
This is your main man RJ from the Ringside Rant, heard only on the Visionaries Wrestling Network. So go over and subscribe across all your major platforms, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher to hear every great interview I have every Monday on the Visionaries Wrestling Network. Go over and follow the show's page on Twitter @_Ringside Rant. Follow the network's page @BizWrestleNet. And, as always, embrace the vision.
Hello, friends. This is Spencer Love, your host of Over the Top Rope on the Win Column Sports Network. Don't forget you can head to wincolumnsports.ca for all of your previews, reviews, and breaking news from the world of wrestling, be it your major promotions or from the great province of Alberta, Canada.
If you like podcasts and you are listening to Backbreaker Media, then you should listen to me, Chris Parrish,
and myself, Manoy,
and the Sounds of Struggle, because we are literally the most entertaining duo you'll ever come across in Western Canadian wrestling, baby.
We talk about things like wrestling
and other sports we like.
Wrestling.
But we won't talk about other sports that we don't like, because it's not that kind of podcast.
Like wrestling.
I mean, we like hockey.
And wrestling.
And we like football.
And wrestling.
And we also like to drink beer.
While wrestling.
Well, not while wrestling, but while watching wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to get into a conversation with Maniac and Chris Parrish, then you need to tune into the Sounds of Struggle live on Backbreaker Media.
Every Thursday.
That's when we hope to drop, but sometimes Mike Malawany doesn't do his job right.
Or we're too drunk to forget.
Yeah, that happens too.
Yeah.
He can bleep out the swear word, because we weren't supposed to do that.
Oh,
but
I'll try not to swear. I can't do it.
Yeah. Let's face it, the two of us, we're real.
And spectacular.
And we're a little bit of all right.
Yeah.
Well, so strugglicious.
That we are.
That was kind of the key. We're supposed to do strugglicious.
Oh, sorry, I'm drunk.
Yeah. So, if you don't want to listen to us, then no. You're stupid, because we're entertaining. And if you want to listen to us, then, come listen to us on Backbreaker Media.
Yeah. What he said.
Later, bitches.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Quick Calls. I am Andre C. Coming to you live. Well, I guess it's not live, is it?
No,
this is taped.
Yeah, it is.
Coming to you taped from the RCW Holiday Chaos Show at the St. John's Cultural Centre in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I am joined here by Win Column Sports. He's my favorite guy on Win Column Sports too.
Me?
Mr. Spencer Love.
I'm the favorite. Man, that's awesome. I can't wait to rub that in.
You're my favorite.
No, that's okay. I'm the favorite. Thanks for having me. Always enjoy being on here. Always enjoy being a part of the Backbreaker Media Network.
I'm glad to have you on here. And joining us for his second time on Quick Calls, he made his debut on the last show I hosted a week ago at PWA. Ladies and gentlemen, Andreas.
Somehow I feel some low-key shade here when you said he was the first favorite.
He was my favorite from Win Column Sports.
Okay, that's better. But technically this is my third appearance because I did a voice at the very end of the very, very last show. So This is kind of my third one.
There you go. All right. So we had a pretty darn good show tonight. I actually really, really enjoyed this. And there was a few really huge surprises on this show. And we're going to get into it right away, and we're going into our first match of the evening, and it is a winner will advance to the main event ladder match for the RCW Junior Heavyweight Championship also. It is it's going to be a 10-minute time limit match. Dean Real Talk Richter versus the RCW Junior Heavyweight Champion, Pride, or as he wants to be called now, the Pride of Ireland.
I don't think he's capable of a bad match right now. I think Pride has really taken 2018 and really established himself as one of the players to watch in Alberta independent wrestling. I think the guy's been absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible over the last, sort of 11 months or so, and that's just being evidenced more and more lately. He is the CWC Canadian champion. He's the
provincial champion.
Provincial champion.
Alberta champion.
Too many damn titles, man. He's also the RCW Junior Heavyweight champion, and to be quite honest with you, man, I think the guy's just going to keep racking up the accolades. He's been absolutely fantastic over the last little bit, and not to take away from Dean Richter, but for me coming into the match, I was fairly sold on the fact that Pride was going to go home with the victory.
Yeah, and you can't never forget the lady on the outside, Envy, the RCW Women's Champion. You can never forget her being out there because she's a huge factor to all his matches.
For Pride, I don't really know what to say about this guy because I'm still trying to get a feel of what he is because I don't hate him, I don't like him. He's just in the middle for me. So I really whenever he's out, I just don't know what to feel.
Yeah, so we had a really good competitive junior heavyweight match, but I had people sitting beside me yelling, Dean Richter's not a junior heavyweight, he's a super heavyweight. But
yeah, he's a super heavyweight.
204 and a half, I say. But this match did end in a time limit draw with Dean Richter, in my opinion, about to get the 3 count because he literally hit a bridging German suplex. The ref had counted 1, 2, and then the bell rang for the time limit, which is heartbreaking in a sense for Dean Richter, who did believe he was 1 second away from winning that title. But I say by the skin of his teeth, Pride keeps his belt, due to luck of the bell.
And I would have to disagree with you there, to be quite honest with you. I think that this is an example of really having to be aware of the time limit. And,
yeah, it's true.
And for me, I think that coming into it and knowing that you've got a shorter match than you generally do, with most being 15-minute time matches, that's something you've really got to be aware of going into this. So Pride's a guy who's really got some stamina as far as his in-ring ability goes. He's somebody who can go on for either a short sprint or a long run, and this was something that these guys are 2 talented wrestlers. No one was going to get put away quickly, and Pride just had the awareness around it that, if you're getting close to the 10 minutes, maybe conserve yourself rather than sort of give it your all, rather than go for the win, because you do have the champion's advantage going into it with the championship around your waist, right?
Yeah, Andreas, your thoughts on the match?
I was saying, I agree with Spencer because his Pride stamina is pretty good, and yeah, because it was pretty good. And this is the first time they did a 10-minute time limit, isn't it?
It's been 10-minute time limits have done in the past. This was the only one on the show as far for this. Yeah, it's the first time they've had a time limit in a while, anyways.
Because usually it goes to 20-minute time limit. Because every time I see one of the matches, they say 20 or 30-minute time limit. This is the first time I ever heard of a 10-minute time limit.
I guess they just chose for a certain time for this one. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna move on to so after the match, we had a promo session from Thaddeus Archer III. Comes out and he's trying to speak, but the crowd's very, very rude to him because he is a legend.
So very rude.
So he just walks over and screams at the music guy, play Steven Styles' music. So play Steven Styles' music. He comes out, and to keep it short and simple, Thaddeus Archer tells Steven Styles that he is resigning as RCW general manager, to an applause from some terrible individuals. And so Steven Styles is very happy. He says he's going to kick Thaddeus' ass. But Thaddeus says, wait a minute. Your new RCW commissioner is the Irishman, formerly of Monster Pro Wrestling. He comes on out and really gets into Styles' face, tells him there ain't going to be no shenanigans. They're not going to be beating up on people. Not going to be any of the crap that's been pulled in the past. Before we get to what happened after, what is your guys' thoughts on the Irishman being named the new RCW commissioner?
I love it. I think that he is... he's just a guy with a brain for the wrestling business. He's a guy who obviously he commands a lot of respect, not only from the fans because he's a guy I respect a ton, but he's someone that a lot of the talent in the RCW locker room,
other locker rooms too,
will care about. Not anything against Stad, but you could tell that there were definitely wrestlers in there who maybe didn't have the same panache that he did for the wrestling business or for his style of authority or anything like that. And that's not, again, anything against Stad, because like you said, the guy's an absolute legend. But I think that Irishman coming in as such a well-respected name, he's going to be huge for the RCW locker room.
I agree with you 100%. Andreas, your thoughts on Irishman becoming the commissioner?
Well, with Irishman, I just started to know about this guy like about a year and a half ago because I recently started watching him. So I'm basically guessing that he's basically the Undertaker of indie wrestling. He has a lot of respect, command, and people listen to him. Am I right?
From what I've heard, yes.
Okay.
I don't say to the Undertaker degree, but he's well respected in the locker room, in any locker room he steps in.
Yeah, I can see that just by how people treat him because he's been around for a long time, and I looked into him and he's has some really good knowledge and stuff.
Yeah, so the Irishman is the new commissioner, and then one of my favorite parts of the night happens, and Steven Styles beats on the one man in the ring that we haven't really talked about, and that's Kyle Shaw.
Rest in peace, Kyle.
He beats the living holy hell out of Kyle Shaw, and actually ends up because he got the shillelagh from Irish and took it to Kyle's knee and just wrecked his knee. I haven't heard anything back on the condition of his knee, how he's doing, but they lost their announcer for the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So after that, the Irishman gets into Styles' face and tells him to go, and then he ends up putting him in. After he said Styles isn't going to finagle his way into main events and anything anymore, he puts Styles in the main event. But he is taking on 4 other men in a Holiday Havoc ladder match. And he just wants Styles to get his ass kicked in that match. There's always the risk of Styles can win. So Styles leaves. And then probably one of my highlights of the night, Irishman goes, "We need an announcer."
Oh, here we go.
And I'm sitting in the crowd, and he looks at me. He's like, "You've worked here before," and tells me to come in the ring. And I ring announce the rest of the show. So I'm going to now hand the mic over to Spencer Love. I will give my input, but he will run the rest of this show.
As a ring announcer for Real Canadian Wrestling, Andre cannot offer an unbiased opinion on this here edition of Quick Call. So I, Spencer Love, from Win Column Sports and your host of Over the Top Rope on the Win Column Sports Network, will be taking over as your host for this edition of Quick Calls. Just to pick up from where you were going with it, I really, really love this segment. It's really rare that you get a great promo segment in independent wrestling, to be quite honest with you. And for me, to stress for the last time of this, that is an absolute, to be honest with you, legend of Alberta independent wrestling. I'm very, very sad to see the guy go, but I'm very excited to see Irishman come in.
Yep. Hold on. What do you mean he's going? He's not going anywhere.
As the general manager, yes, he is.
Yeah, that.
And then the one other thing that I want to say is as far as Kyle Shaw goes, nothing against your ring announcing, but you won't find a guy in Alberta wrestling with more passion for the industry than Kyle Shaw.
I will agree 100%. Like when I was getting ready, when I was kind of thinking about leaving last year, Kyle had been taking over. He took over Springbrook after I stopped going that one. He started doing Calgary. He took over for the announcer in Calgary, and when going to certain shows, I saw the transformation of the guy. So I knew I was leaving. When I was leaving, I knew I was leaving it in good hands, and a man who I knew was good and would only get better. Like, don't get me wrong, I very much enjoyed getting the chance to do this again, but it's Kyle's job. I'm not taking it. I hope he gets better fast so that he can come back and continue the rise he's been having.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Well, you can see that almost every show, Kyle's starting to get more confidence in himself and getting better at ring announcing. Because that first time he was like nervous as hell, and you can tell. But over the time, every show he's been in, you can see the confidence going up and up and up.
Absolutely, and all the best. Sorry, go ahead.
And we forgot one thing in this promo, and it was that Top Talent came out and they offered Thaddeus Archer III a shirt.
Absolutely. So that's where I was going to go. And Andres, I'm going to get your thoughts on this after giving my little spiel. But Top Talent entered near the end of the promo, and I know I speak for all three of us here when we say we're excited every time those guys make their entrance. Very surprisingly, neither of them said anything. All that happened was they came out and they offered Thaddeus Archer III a Top Talent shirt, which Thad accepted, and seemingly at this point of the evening joined as the manager for Top Talent. Andres, I'm going to go to you first. What are your thoughts on Thad joining with two of the top guys in the Real Canadian Wrestling promotion?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say when Top Talent's music hit, you know it's on. When they came in busting through the door like it's on, because you can see the look on their face. And yeah, they go in the ring, but you forgot to mention that they're like making Kyle, like he's like dying in the corner there, and they're making Kyle like open the ropes for them. Like, come on, Kyle, open the ropes for the royalty over here.
It was a beautiful, beautiful piece of heeldom. I'll never deny the fact that those two are two of the best bad guys as far as any wrestling promotion that I've watched. So, like you said, it's great to see something like that. And then aligning with Thad, who... Thad was always a guy who played by his own rules. He was never a guy who aligned with anybody, sort of regardless of the heel or face alignment. He never really played favorites on either side. He sort of went with who he went with, and now that he's sort of joining not only bad guys, but guys who are firmly on the wrong side of the tracks. Andres, what are your guys' thoughts?
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, so... The join, he's on. I disagree with Spencer completely. That is Top Talent and Thaddeus Archer are as honest as they come. We all know that. As people know, I'm a recent Top Talent convertee. I'm new to being a fan of them. The heavy metal hasn't quite accepted me to give me the too sweet quite yet. So I can't. I love this. I think Thaddeus, he's probably one of the best personalities going in the RCW locker room, and he now joins Top Talent. He's now the top manager.
Yeah, because like Thaddeus, my God, like I'm glad that he's full on beast mode again, because like there was a time for the last couple of months where he was like in between. It was kind of like I wanted the Thaddeus to like come out again, like where he goes full on evil beast mode, and we finally got it because now he's finally not doing the commissioner role anymore and being a manager, and just it's going to be great seeing him be full out Thaddeus Archer III again.
Absolutely. He's a guy who's always interesting to watch, and now in a new role he's going to just sort of not completely change, but he's just going to shift a bit back into that role, and it's a role that he absolutely excels at. So we'll talk again about Thaddeus Archer III, and we're going to talk about Top Talent a little later on here. But let's move on to our Women's Championship match. We had Envy, the RCW Women's Champion, heading into this match versus Angelica. And guys, I just think that this is another great example of why women's wrestling, not only in Alberta but worldwide, is at an all-time high.
Yeah, I agree. Also, like another former MPW wrestler coming to RCW. There's a lot of that going on lately.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and it just, again, speaks to the talent that we have here in Edmonton. I attended earlier on, and we'll hear from Mike the ref about Monster Pro Wrestling's Blitzkrieg 4 tonight, also on the Backbreaker Media Network.
A match Backbreaker Media did come up with, too.
Absolutely, so I'm sure you guys will hear all about that from him, but... there is just so much talent around the Edmonton area that we can see a show like this tonight with a match like this, or you can head over to MPW and watch Psycho Sawyer, and you can watch females of that caliber. It's pretty incredible the talent we've got here. So, Andre, I'm going to go to you first. What are just your overall thoughts on Envy versus Angelica?
I really quite enjoyed this. I missed part of it due to I was just getting to learning the card, getting to the booth. I did flub a bit on the entrances because I was still getting used to getting back in there and ring announce again. But I watched about the last 2/3 of the match, and man, did these two just kill it in there. I really enjoy both these ladies, and Envy, who's for me only recently got to start seeing her wrestle, and who Angelica, I've been seeing her for a year or two as I can't remember how long, but in MPW, and man, like both these ladies, they're such a treat to watch in the ring. And can I say the ending here?
Oh yeah, spoil it.
Angelica ends up picking up the victory and becoming the new RCW Women's Champion, and this crowd erupted. They loved the fact that Angelica took that, and because she is loved here from her time in MPW, she's very much loved by this Edmonton crowd.
Absolutely, Andres. Your thoughts?
Okay, well, when the match first started, it was kind of slowish because, like, honestly, the crowd was kind of dead during like the first half of it, but then it really picked up during the last half because they kept on going and going and going. Because like women's wrestling nowadays, it's like really getting way better, especially when like at the very end they were going beast mode with each other. And yeah, so Angelica won, and it was amazing. And like she truly shows that she really was like she was crying and like she was really happy and all. It was great to see that she got the belt.
Absolutely. And, you know, unlike you, Andre, I'm really, really opposite in the sense that I'm not all that familiar with Angelica's work, but I'm very, very familiar with the work of Envy. So it's been very, very cool to me to sit and watch the development, of Angelica as someone who is an in-ring veteran, as someone who, even from my first match watching her, was a very good wrestler. But just to see where she's come from here, to really take that step into, you guys may correct me on this, but what I believe is her first women's, like, overall championship. Andrew, you look like you want to correct me on that one.
No, it's not. Finish your thought, and then I'll go with what I was.
But what I was going to say is, you know, it's been a really, really great run out of Envy. I think that her last couple of months as RCW Women's Champion have been just fantastic, and they've really taken the belt to another level for me. So it'll be exciting for me to see if Angelica continues that, and I've got the full faith that she will, because, like I said, she's talented as all hell, and I'm excited to see where the championship goes from here.
Oh. And you got to remember, there's also more women waiting in the wing in Kaya March and in Jasmine. You got to remember that they are here. But at this moment, walking up to us right now, back from the dead.
Oh my God.
It's
you look horrible, man.
My buddy Kyle Shaw, the man who I had to cover for tonight. Buddy, how you doing?
I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Back from the dead, man. How you look? Oh,
Okay, I gotta ask, like, after all that, what are you thinking?
Well, like, I'll be honest, like, when I moved to Edmonton, there was some people that were, like, warning me that, like, Steven might, like, try and take advantage of me. And, yeah, after tonight, like, this is some bullshit, you know? I work really hard around here, and I try to do a good job, and this is how I'm appreciated, like, you know?
I'll say this. I'll say this forever. You can't trust Styles. And even when I was in there when he came up for the main event, dude, I actively avoided his ass because I was scared he was going to do it to me, too.
Yeah, I hear you, but, like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, Chris Irishman, I think he's going to be a good new commissioner. And I got a lot of friends in RCW. And,
Steve might have some payback coming?
Yeah. Steven might meet a few of those friends.
Well, I know emotions are running high right now. We won't bug you too much. I know you've obviously got your mind going a million different ways right now, but is there anything you want to say to Steven Styles, or is there anything out there that you sort of want to get out before you take off for the evening to recover?
No, it's going to take a lot more than an evening to recover. I'm probably going to miss the show in Calgary next week. Andre, I'd have you do that one too, but...
I got to work that day, dude. Irish, you got to find somebody for Calgary.
Yeah. I don't know what to say, man. You know, son of a bitch. Like, What are you going to do?
Love that.
Well, fair enough, man, and all the best to you in your recovery. We hope you get better soon. You're a hell of a ring announcer, and hopefully you're not out too long from this. But I guess breaking news here from RCW in Edmonton, Holiday Chaos. Kyle Shaw will not be ring announcing, or potentially will not be ring announcing in Calgary next weekend.
No, I won't be. I definitely will not be, and it's a bummer too, because tonight was the first night in oh God, it was over a year that I didn't host the show, and that's the worst part about the whole thing to me.
Well, Kyle, we thank you for joining us on here. We really, really appreciate it. All the best to you. Get better soon, my friend.
Love it. Thank you very much for coming, boys. Andre, thank you so much for covering for me.
No worries, bud.
Monday, probably tomorrow, if you guys are hearing this, Andre C is going to be on Monday Night Shaw. I'm going to try and make sure that there's an episode of Monday Night Shaw out in 2 weeks, and I will do my best, and we'll get that up for you. Thanks for listening to Backbreaker. Once again, like I say, this whole thing is a fucking bummer. Excuse my language.
No worries.
No, and it's completely excusable in this case, man. Like, honestly, guys, I don't want to belabor the point too much between the three of us, but
what would you do if you're fucking recording a podcast, doing your job with your brother, and he just fucking whips out a weapon and starts going at your legs?
Man, Kyle, I don't even know, man. I don't know how you're doing it. It's a testament. We spoke about him earlier this evening, and you won't find anybody in Canadian wrestling with more passion for the industry than Kyle Shaw. So hopefully the guy gets better soon. Hopefully he recovers quickly, and hopefully he's back ring announcing and hosting shows sooner rather than later. Guys, we spoke about Envy versus Angelica. I just want to close out my thoughts there real quickly.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
We got sidetracked.
Well, and that is something that you have to speak to the guy when he comes up, right? So, I just did want to say it was it was shocking to me, to be honest with you, that Envy sort of chose to reveal herself or unmask in this. But I think it was a very, very cool moment. And where she goes from here, I don't know. But
we got one more show, and then it's a whole new year.
Absolutely. And I think that, like I've said about Angelica, I'll say the same about Envy. We've watched her develop over 2018. I'm very, very excited to see where these two ladies take their feud in 2019.
So excited.
Any final thoughts from the two of you, or do we want to move on to our next match?
The future of this women's division is going to be sick.
Yeah, the women have proved throughout the last couple of years that the women can do it as better as the guys too.
100%, you guys. And speaking of the guys, and some of the most talented guys, at least in my opinion, on the RCW roster, we've got the Newfoundland Viking Rage.
Two-thirds of it.
Two-thirds of them taking on the sexy American superstars.
No. Sexy ass.
Excuse me, sexy ass. I'm just watching these guys for the first time live, so you guys may have a bit more of an opinion than I do. But the Newfoundland Viking Rage, I am always excited to see in action, and this is the first time.
Andreas is sitting here with the NVR shirt on.
Absolutely, and this is the first time that I've watched a combination of Gunnar the Pagan Destroyer and Vince Austin in the ring together as a tag team.
They've done it before.
Well,
But he wasn't here.
Yep.
He was at the show that night.
Like I said, I'm sure you guys are more well versed on these ones as well, especially with the sexy ass American superstars. Number one, the only thing that I've actually got here in my notes is the refereeing was not up to par in this one. I feel as though it could have been much, much better. I also feel as though the numbers advantage for the NVR in this one really took precedence in this one, because not to take anything away from the talent of them, but it looked as though they were sort of pushed to their limits more than they really have been in the last little bit in this one. Andres, I'm going to go to you first on this one, because Andre C, we went to you first on the last one. What are your thoughts on NVR versus the sexy ass American superstars?
Okay, first of all, this was for the tag team titles, and they were using the Freebird rule, so Gunnar was defending the tag team titles on this one with his partner. Who was it again?
Vince Austin.
Vince Austin. I get the confused with him and the other guy.
No, and I don't blame you. They both have fantastic beards. However, only one beard is to be feared.
Yeah,
Andre C.
All them beards are feared. But here's the thing, the sexy ass Americans. Oh my God. Okay, another former MPW guy is coming on over. Oh God, from that other place. Let's just say, I'm not a fan of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entertained by them. It's just, oh my God. Every time they come, he does okay, so the one dude, I don't know their names, and I don't really care.
Bradley Graham was the big dude in like the tights, and then you have sexy Steve Rivers in the singlet.
Is that where he was wearing the Big Daddy V singlet thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I gotta say, the dude has lost a lot of weight. He's a nice guy, but in the other one, he was like really bigger. But I noticed that he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of weight, and he looks really good. But still, I do not like this tag team. It's not entertainment at all because it's. I'm just gonna leave it as that.
Andre C, your thoughts?
I love this. NVR, one of the best teams going right now. Probably my third favorite team, my third or fourth favorite team right now, and they always kill it. And then you got, for me, which was really exciting when I looked at the card tonight, seeing that the sexy ass was joining here. Steve Rivers, who is a veteran legend in Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, like Western Canada, the States. Like, he's a legend, this guy. Like, he's so good, and like, you don't usually. I'm not used to seeing him as the good guy.
Yeah, that's another thing about that. Because there was always bad guys.
Yeah, so they're playing the faces thing, because NVR are this kind of team that you never know if they're good or bad. And then Bradley Graham, when I saw him come out, I was like, wow, this is only half of Bradley Graham. Dude had to have dropped a whole person at this point. Yeah. And man, these guys entertain like crazy. And if it wasn't for Andrew Hawks pulling a referee out of the ring, Gunnar would have tapped out to Steve Rivers with that crossface. And man, it ended up being a disqualification, but the Sexy American Superstars looked really good in their debut outing in RCW.
I completely agree, and I think that's the reason that I was so lukewarm to them off the bat, was because it was their debut. It was my first experience with them. And yeah, it's a biased opinion, but man, I love the NVR. So anybody who's really coming up against them sort of does start a little lower on the totem pole for me, just because I do love that trio so much. That being said, it was a great first experience, you know. Much like you thought on the women's match, Andres, I think that it was a match that maybe the crowd was a little out of to start, but they were so thoroughly into it by the time it ended that it just added that extra bit to the match. I think the right guys won, to be honest with you. This is nothing against the sexy-ass American Superstars, but
sexy-ass won by disqualification.
They are former tag teams, so I can see that they're going to win the titles down the road, because you know it's going to happen down the road. They are former tag team champions in another company, but yeah.
Multiple companies.
And I could see it happening, but I also think that the right guys won, but the right guys also left with the championships, because for me, the longer that those three are holding the RCW Tag Team Championships, the happier I get. So, gentlemen, any final thoughts on this match before we move on?
No, I'm good, man. It was enjoyable.
I do got to say, Bradley Graham, I got to say, he has improved a lot since the last time I saw him. Because, yeah, losing that weight.
And there's one post-match thing. The Irishman came out, and he didn't like the shenanigans by Andrew Hawks, and he said that in the contract for this match, if the Sexy American Superstars won, they got a title match in January, which they will be getting in January. I'm not sure if it's going to be Calgary, the Edmonton 5th show, the second Edmonton show in January. Don't know.
Also, keep in mind, he also said no more shenanigans by cheating. Keep that in mind for later on.
Yeah.
I know exactly why you're holding on to that one, but it ain't for this one. In our second final match before the intermission, we had Zach Mercury, the Universe, as I hiccup.
The title-less RCW Commonwealth Champion.
Taking on Sydney Steele, who was holding a backpack, but we never knew what was in said backpack, so whether that was the Commonwealth Championship or not, we can really not comment on this edition of Quick Calls on the Backbreaker Media Network. But guys, I don't really have a ton to say about this match, not because it was good or bad, but because it's a match that I just think it's something that you would have to watch on Backbreaker Media, because
Hint, hint.
Well, well, you know what, Andre? I'll let you take it from there, my friend.
Okay, so I've been watching Zach for a long time. Sydney, for at least the last 2 years, it's been going to MPW. And Sydney has really, I think, really started to shine in this heel turn he's had. And I gotta say to this is, I thought these two had a really good match, but it ended in the fact that Zach had his foot on the ropes. The ref counted 3, so the Irishman did come out, restarted the match, which became a point of contention for two fans in the crowd. And then he restarted the match, and then Zach ended up winning. And Sidney Steele did say that if Zach wins, he would get the contents of the backpack. Mm-hmm. As he was going to get the backpack, Sidney Steele's cohort, Cameron Stevens, did run out, grab the backpack, and run to the back.
Mm-hmm. So, Andres, any thoughts on your end?
So, yeah. Sidney Steele, another MPW guy. See, there's a theme going on right now. Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing Spencer did. Like, wasn't really special. I was, like, not really into the match. Except for, like, yeah, it's like the foot on the rope thing got restarted. Again, Irish said, we're not going to take that bullshit anymore. Keep that in mind for later on. I'm going to keep on saying that. Because, yeah, and then Cameron Stevens returns, he comes in, steals the belt, and just runs back. I wasn't into this match, is all I'm saying.
Fair enough, and for me, I think that the best part of this match was Sidney Steele's heeldom. I love the way the guy trash talks in the ring. I love the guy's attitude as far as it goes since his heel turn, but like you said, Andre, you described it perfectly, and it's still something that I think you need to go and just watch on the Backbreaker Media channel because there was a lot of post-match and during-match shenanigans, so just something to watch prior to the break. And another match that you guys will probably have more comments on than I did because I missed a good portion of this. Son of Irish was in action.
So
here we go.
Let's go to Andreas first because I'm going to go pretty much the exact opposite.
Andreas, I'll let you take the lead on this one, my friend.
All right, so Son of Irish took on... Who did he take on again?
How do you not? He's taking on Andrew Hawks.
Okay. I'm sorry. They confuse me because they look... Those beards. The only one I recognize is Gunner because he's that much of a monster and he's taller. So Andrew Hawks, right? Yeah. Okay. Takes on Son of Irish. So, yeah, it's a good match going back and forth. Yeah, and of course, there's a spot where, like, he has to take off Irish's shirt to get the girls wild in the audience because it happens every match. I notice there's a theme going on.
It's the Jeff Hardy spot.
Yeah, that's the Jeff Hardy thing because you hear just the girls going nuts. Like I said, really good match going back and forth. We had a special referee. I don't know who this guy is. He's a rapper, right?
I will go into that.
Okay, he's a dude is what I'm going to call him. I don't know who he is. So yeah, he's refereeing. It takes forever to get down to the mat doing the 1, 2, 3. Then Andrew Hawks comes in and brings in a chair. It's going to do the chair, but the referee takes the chair and throws it down. No, wait, he hits him with the chair. The referee hits Andrew Hawks with the chair, and Son of Irish just looks at him, pins him, and 1, 2, 3. Son of Irish wins. And I'm just looking over at Father Irish, and I'm just yelling. He's like, so, it's okay because it's him, your son? I was mad, but yeah, I was going like, so it's okay if he does it then. And he's like going, oh, yeah. He's like shaking his head. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to interject here. This was my favorite match of the night. I'm going to say that outright. Son of Irish has had now 2 months, 2 RCW shows in a row. 2 quick calls for me as my favorite match of the night. These two burned it down. Thank God there wasn't a match directly after this because the crowd would have just been like, afterwards, but these two killed it. There was a beautiful swanton from Irish, but Hawks got his knees up. I'm standing beside Irish throughout this entire thing, and he just cringes. And then, yes, and Andrew Hawks did get a chair, was about to hit Irish, so the referee grabbed the chair. So Andrew Hawks turns around, shoves the ref, and then, so Son of Irish grabs Hawks, and the referee cracks him with the chair. So then, Son of Irish goes to the top rope, hits a beautiful 450 splash, and picks up the victory. Now, I did speak with the Irishman during intermission and asked why he didn't intervene in that. Because it was not outside interference. It was a referee who deemed it fair. He is not reversing the decision. Had it been outside interference, which the NVR did happen to do twice in this match.
Actually,
and
one time.
No, Gunnar had his hands on Son of Irish, ready to slam him.
But he didn't. He put him down.
But he was going to.
But he didn't. That's the key word there. He put him down. And then he got told to go back, and we're like, that's bullshit.
Because he touched a competitor in the match.
He was jumping off the thing.
It does not matter. If you touch a competitor in the match, you were ejected. You're supposed to be ejected. So, according to Irishman, because it was the referee that did this, he can't reverse the decision on that. I'm just clarifying some things that I found out. Now, if it's still confusing to others, that's fine. Find the Irish on his social media and blame him. But I love this match.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good match, except for the book BS that happened. But I love this match. It was really good.
Fair enough, guys, and I don't think there's much I can add other than what you guys said. Like you said, the ending of that match was beautiful. That 450 was picture perfect. We hit the break. After the break, we came back with here we go. The referee
from that match was actually Jay Northside. He is from the Pay It Forward Foundation. Check it out online. He also is a local hip-hop artist. So
very cool.
Nice. He was in contact with some people over the RCW head office talking about his foundation. They said, well, we'll come in if you want to raise some money for it. And then he said, anyway, I can get involved in the show. And they're like, well, we were looking at doing a special guest spot. And they brought him in for the special guest spot. So
very, very cool. Well, there we go on that one.
Check out the Pay It Forward Foundation online.
Excellent suggestion, especially as we approach the Christmas season, guys. When we came back from our intermission, we got our co-main event and a match that I was thoroughly excited for. We don't have a lot of time here to record on this one, you guys, but I wanted to get you guys' thoughts. We had Top Talent with Thaddeus Archer versus Barricade and RCW Canadian Heavyweight Champion Christian Strife. Andre C., I'm going to this one to you first. What were your thoughts?
So I really quite enjoy this. I always say when you're coming back from a break, you need a hot match to kick the crowd back into gear. And this was it. Because a large percentage of the crowd, excluding us, hates Top Talent. And there's a large portion of the crowd loves Barricade and they love Strife. So you had really good dynamics. The crowd was really into this. And these two teams this was more of a brawling, kicking war than a technical wrestling match. Yes, there was moves, but these guys are brawlers.
100%. And you know what? Go ahead.
And I really quite enjoyed this. And in the end, during the match, Strife did hurt. It seemed to hurt his knee. And so in the end, they do pick up the Strife, as I like to call them, bear kick. Did pick up the victory, and we were calling to get ice into the locker room for Strife's knee because we're not sure how good his knee is after that match.
Oh damn!
No, and I completely agree with you, man. That it was an absolutely incredible match. This wasn't a technical classic because these are two teams and four individuals that absolutely hate each other. You know, to put myself over, I spoke to Christian Strife a couple of weeks ago on Over the Top Rope on the Win Column Sports Network.
Awesome, the second best interview this man has ever done.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
His best one came out 2 days prior.
MRB. No, but I spoke to him a couple days before this event took place, and he was even commenting on the fact that this isn't just a feud over a championship. This is a personal blood feud between him and the members of Top Talent. So it was very, very good to see them back in the ring against each other. I mean, obviously, it's selfish wanting to watch four people go and kick the shit out of each other, but it was such a cool experience as a fan to watch these guys in the ring again together, and especially to get Barricade involved. You know, you hear it in the interview, but Strife has really faced the members of Top Talent for the most part, individually. And now to bring Barricade into it and bring another dynamic to the team was very, very cool for me to see. So, Andres, I'm going to get your thoughts on the finish to this one. Obviously, we got Strife and Barricade getting the victory in this one. Give me your thoughts.
All I gotta say, yeah, but speaking of people getting the shit kicked out of him, Christian Strife got his ass kicked the entire match. But yeah, he definitely won the match after. And also, Top Talent bringing in the Encyclopedia of Psychology, which was really funny to begin with.
They are absolutely terrific, and in the most complimentary way possible. I hate those guys for all the right reasons, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They do an absolutely excellent job as heels. I think that Heavy Metal and Big Jess Youngblood are two of the most talented individuals in Alberta wrestling right now. I'd put them up there with guys like Pride, even just if we're looking for a comparison in the promotion. They're fantastic. So, speaking of Pride, guys, if there's no other thoughts with you, I'll carry it on to our final match here.
Let's do it. Do you want me to read this out?
Yes, you know what? You are our ring announcer. I will let you read this one out because it's not your opinion. This is just the facts. These are who participated in your ladder match tonight.
So, this is a Holiday Havoc ladder match for a Money in the Bank shot at any title of the winner's choosing. First entry was Sweet Daddy Soul. Sweet Daddy. Yeah. Got the eye of the tiger. And you have Cameron Stevens. You have the Pride of Ireland, as he likes to be called now. And you got Dean Real Talk Richter. And I got to make a comment about him. I learned I have never really listened to where he comes from. It says fighting out of Viridian City Gym, which is a Pokemon reference.
Oh,
and
100%.
I love that.
Okay.
I love that to death. And then finally, I used to call him Mr. 280 Plates of Wings. I so badly wanted to say that, but I had to keep it professional. Steven Styles.
Andres, I let you close out the last match. I'm going to let you open this one. What were your overall thoughts on the ladder match for the Money in the Bank contract?
Dude, this match was short. It went 10 minutes, didn't it?
Right around there, and I couldn't agree with you more, to be honest with you. I asked your opinion first, but I'll jump in. That was much shorter than expected, but they definitely packed a lot into the 10 minutes they were out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. For a 10-minute match, they did a lot of things in there, but still, I was surprised it ended in 10 minutes, because I wasn't... But as soon as Sweet Daddy Soul went up there and grabbed it, I was like, what?
Yeah. I agree, and given the spoiler there a bit, but Sweet Daddy Soul coming out of the match with your Money in the Bank briefcase, guys.
He's the next big thing.
Yep.
He is. He's definitely getting up there.
That's completely fair. Andre, would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, I'm a huge Sweet Daddy Soul fan, and, man, I'm so happy. The one thing I had to do when he won this was not run up and give him a giant hug, because I love this guy. I hug him at every show, but because I had to keep it professional again, and I couldn't hug him. I was just like, ugh. But man, I was so happy to in the end. I'm sorry about that. I'm not privy to the winners. Yeah. I'm just given a card and the list of entrants and how they're coming out. So this was a legit, genuine surprise for me to see Sweet Daddy Soul win this match, and I was so excited. I loved it. And man, all the members of this match, because when I was in the ring as Mr. 280 Plates of Wings made his way out, you had Dean Richter in one corner, I had Pride in the other. Dean Richter kept coming up, and I kept having to kind of step in front of Dean Richter. I was kind of standing there no, go the fuck back to your corner, because he kept wanting to go at Pride of Ireland. Man, it was... and they went to war. And the one thing I got to point out is the dive from Pride of Ireland.
Oh my god!
He went for this. He came up a little short. He caught his shins on the ring apron, but he still took out two of the guys.
It was absolutely nuts. And Andres, I'll let you take this one over after I give my plug for Pride again. But man, what a talented individual that guy is. I think that we saw it in his first match. That would have been even enough for me on the evening. But to go out and even have a match like that and have a spot like that in that match, it speaks to the fact that he's one of the most talented guys, if not the most talented guy in this promotion right now.
Oh yeah.
Andres, your thoughts?
Let's just say when he did that spot, seriously, he could have died, because his sternum would have busted through the post? The post, full on force.
Just missed it too.
Just missed it too. I can't imagine if he hit that, how his ribs and everything would have broken and he would have bled internally, like, yeah, he could have died from that, but he didn't.
He asked the referee, he got the ladder in the ring, he called the ref and came and said, come hold this ladder. Dude had one hand on the ladder. He did not properly hold a ladder for a man that was about to jump.
Yeah.
And as he jumped, the ladder kicked back, so he didn't get he got some forward momentum, but not the amount he needed.
Fair enough. Well, guys, I completely agree with you. I think it was an absolutely fantastic match. I think that it was very, very cool to see Sweet Daddy Soul win. Was he my pick coming into it? Admittedly, I don't think he was. I think that Pride's been on such a hot streak lately that he looked like an easy pick to make. But that's why I love wrestling, is even when it's unpredictable, I absolutely love it. So, guys, the last things I want to take from you guys are your apple and onion of the evening, your favorite and your least favorite moment of RCW Holiday Chaos. Andres, I'm going to go to you first.
My favorite match would have to be like Son of Irish versus Andrew Hawks or Vince Austin. Andrew Hawks. Like I said, I have my problems with that match, but it was a really good match. And the worst match that I did not like is like the Sexy Ass Americans versus NVR, because like I said, I made my feelings clear about that before. And moment, did you say moment? Moment. Oh, like Pride almost dying and not dying.
All right, we'll take it. Andre, your thought?
My favorite spot, and I agree with Andres, has to be that Andrew Hawks versus Son of Irish match. They killed it. They tore the house down. Easily match of the night for me again. Highlight of the night. My onion, as you say, I don't know. It's really tough. I honestly don't have an onion on this show. I overall really love this show.
Awesome,
my onion of the show is Kyle Shaw getting his ass kicked, because, man, yes, I got to come in and do it, but the guy is a phenomenon, and it sucks when you take a talent like him out of the ring.
Fair enough. Well, guys, before I give this, I'm going to give you guys my thanks for appearing on this week's edition of Quick Calls. It's always a blast to talk to you guys about wrestling, and especially when it involves the talented individuals here in Alberta. Where can we find you, Andres? I know you're That Canada Guy on pretty well every piece of social media that we can find.
That Canada Guy on Twitter, That Canada Dude on Instagram. It's a stupid story. You can find me through Backbreaker Media. But please check out coming out should be tomorrow, I guess. I will be appearing on Monday Night Shaw, and then in about a week and change on a Tuesday of the following week, you will be hearing myself and my guest for that week, my good friend Adam Blank. We will be talking about the third weekly NWA TNA weekly pay-per-view on my podcast Total Nonstop Anarchy, which I hope to have Spencer on in the new year.
I'll be there. Andres, where can we find you on the old internet machine?
So it's time for shilling time for me. You can find me on YouTube as Humanoid Freak. Subscribe, shilling time. And also you can find me on Twitter. I'm barely on there, but when I'm on there, I'll message you whenever I can. Also, I have a Facebook fan page that I barely go on, also called Humanoid Freak. And that's pretty much it.
Beautiful. Well, for me, the apple of the evening for me, it was a toss-up. I really enjoyed the opening match between Pride and Dean Richter, but I've got to give my credit to the ladies on this one. I think that the RCW Women's Championship match was absolutely awesome. It's unfortunate to me that Envy's not carrying the championship any longer, but man, I'm very, very excited to see where Angelica goes from here. My onion, as has been the onion for any RCW show I've come to in the last little bit, why the hell can nobody hold a tag rope when they're in a tag team match? It absolutely drives me nuts. So RCW roster, I absolutely love all of you guys, but for Christ's sake, hold on to the tag rope when you are in a tag team match. This is not Vietnam. There are rules here. Holding on to the tag rope is a fundamental rule in a tag team match. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I have been your guest host for this week's edition of Quick Calls. I am Spencer Love, your host of Over the Top Rope on the Win Column Sports Network. Don't forget to follow Win Column Sports for all your previews, reviews, and breaking news from the world of wrestling.
And at that Backbreaker Media on Twitter. It's at Backbreaker Medi, because we're already Canadian, we don't need the A.
Absolutely. And for the first time ever, Spencer Love is taking you out on this week's edition of a Backbreaker Media program, because if you're going to make a call, make it a quick call. And thank you for listening.